decisions is maybe history has probably done it more than anything else. Where people have had land originally, so the pioneers, in fact, were Rolfe Mills up in Wanaka, Alan Brady in Gibbston Valley, and then and certainly Ann Pinckney. Let's not forget Ann Pinckney in Queenstown, and then Cromwell wasn't planted at all in those early days. But then the next two pioneers, you've got Verdun and Sue Burgess down in Alexandra at Blackridge, and also Bill Grant at William Hill and Alex. So they're both in Alex. And also 100 years before us, there was Jean Désiré Feraud in Clyde, which is sort of in the gorge, or just at the exit of the gorge as well. So they were where the region started out was pretty broadly across the whole region. In any case, what followed was I think planting decisions. It's a good question. Where did we? How was it planted out? I think the next part, the second wave after the early successes of those pioneers and the what was to become the second wave. This is less pioneering. There's still a certain sense of pioneering, but more some of the variety, the work on the varieties had been done already. So people were more or less convinced with Pinot Noir, Riesling, and planted out where land was cheap, to be fair, and where it was accessible, and also where I think closer to probably their base, which was most of the investment. There was intellectual investment, obviously, in that second wave as well. There was, that's to say, qualified viticulturalists, qualified winemakers, marketeers, with money to back them. This largely came out of Dunedin, really. So we call them the Tartan Militia. The Dunedin business sort of set came up and invested in some very important businesses in Central Otago, Mount Difficulty, Felton Road, Olson's, Peregrine, Hakarua. These were early they were very much the strength of the second wave, I suppose, and drove Central Otago to a new place where we were just pioneering and figuring out and having some really important years of empirical observation and understanding. We had probably 50 years of it, from the time when Rolfe, my father, certainly started looking at his land and trying to understand its potential for any type of agriculture, and then viticulture came into that vision, and this came in the 40s or 50s. So he's been looking at that land and trying to understand that land for a long time. Then once we got into the 70s and 80s, 90s, a lot of that I'm not going to call it experimentation, but that selection of site and stuff had been done, and the understanding of planting material that's compatible with the land had been done, and so it moved a lot faster after that. Of course, then we got this third wave, which is after the successes of the second lot. We got investment in from other quarters as well. So that's going from one island to the other. It's essentially going